Okay, welcome back to Great Area. I'm very excited to have Mochakk with me today. So how are you doing? What have you been up to recently? Just to start things off.
I'm I'm fine. What about you guys? I'm really happy to be a part of the interview as well. Yeah, I've been working a lot. Like it's been some busy weeks. Many gigs and stuff to prepare to organizing my library because I have tons of music in the library, so I gotta organize it for some gigs. And yeah, it's been busy, but it's been cool. I've been really excited to see what the next chapter is going to be like. It's been exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Of course. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it seems like it's been such an explosion in your career, popularity wise,
Yeah.
which is great and obviously completely well deserved. So yeah,
Thanks.
very excited to have you with us today. So this interview is going to be mainly focusing on your origin story. So kind of musically, your history, how you've got where you are today. And I think a good place to start off with, on that note, is to start off with, can you talk to me a bit about your relationship with music growing up, and whether your music taste has changed over time?
hmm
Wow.
I was like a rock kid, actually. Like I started listening to rock music a lot because my dad was a big fan of rock music. And he used to show me like all these bands and all these videos. Like when I was like 5 or 6, I would like ask him to do fake tattoos in me and paint my hair green with a big mohawk so I can go to school like that. I was like the weird rock kid. Um, I really loved Linkin Park. I loved new metal stuff like basically Korn and System of a Down and stuff like that. And it already had some electronic elements. If you think of it, like new metal has that. Some bands have DJs and samplers and stuff. So the aesthetic of electronic sounding stuff, I think, was already there. Um, and yeah, that was when I was little, and I started playing instruments like early in that phase. Like I started playing the guitar when I was 6 or stuff. I stopped playing it afterwards, and then I got back to it. I stopped again, but yeah, that's where like I think the guitar was like my first contact to instruments, like real instruments. And yeah, I think when I started growing up a little more, I started to listen to other stuff. Like my mom was a big disco and 70s funk soul era. She was a big fan of that, and and she was a big fan of new wave, like um UK pop 80s stuff, like um what are the name of the bands, like oh it's in yeah, but you know all the way, like it's Depeche Mode, Tears for Fears, um I want to know what you're feeling. I forgot the name of the
Oh,
band.
my
That's
mind's
like the
gone blank now
best
as
band.
well. No.
Yeah, that's the best band ever. Like from that time, aesthetic wise, it's like so so tight. But yeah, the new wave, the 80s synth pop and all that stuff. My mom was a big fan of that as well. And then I started to open more of the spectrum of stuff that I liked to listen, because when I was little, I was like the rock kid that doesn't like anything else. It's like, yeah, I like rock and roll. Anything else is shit. And then when I started growing up and listening to that stuff, I think it opened like a big portal, because soul and funk and disco, it has that touch of jazz and of harmonies and chord progressions and the butter stuff. And I think that's what gave me the foundation to later actually like house and stuff like that. Because post that era, I started listening to a lot of soulful hip hop, because I really liked the chords. The chords reminded me of those soul records that my mom liked. And I really got into soulful hip hop and 90s hip hop that was really sample based and was sampling a lot of those 70s tunes that I really liked from my mom's record bag. But yeah, and then when I started like really, really getting into hip hop, I actually went searching on the internet to see how the beats were made. And I discovered Fruity Loops. And then it all began. I started trying to make some beats and trying to remake some beats that I liked and trying to recreate the drum patterns and the arrangements and stuff, trying to get the timbres and the sound design kind of close. I never did like music production courses or stuff. I was like really big on YouTube when I was young. Like I'm still young, but yeah, I kind of grew into YouTube. Like I grew surrounded by YouTube. So most of the stuff that I know music wise and not music wise, it came from YouTube. So I really searched YouTube to the bone and found how to produce and how to create sounds and how to layer sounds and do all that. And that was around 2014, 15. Yeah, kind of that time. That was like more towards the end of the EDM boom. I was not really, really big into big room house. That was really big at the time. But I discovered Future House. And it was a little more dark and groovy, a little bit. It was not dark at all, but I didn't know there were darker stuff around. But it was a little more like, it was not that open sounding. And the breakdowns usually had some cool chords. And I was like, I like this better than that stuff that other people are listening to right now. And I really got into that sound. And it was around that time that the first Brazilian heroes started happening, like in the scene, like Illusionize, Vintage Culture, the beginning of Alok as well. Like those guys, they used to play, like they later called it Brazilian bass, but it was like a mixture of a lot of different things. They were different from each other. Like Vintage Culture had a more new disco, deep house kind of vibe. Illusionize had a more darker, like punchy sound, as well as Alok. And those guys showed me like, yo, there's this sound going on and it's from your country. And you should check it out. Like, and I really got into their sound and I started producing house and stuff that sounded close to those guys. And yeah, the reason I started actually listening to those guys is because one of my friends showed me those guys, and he was already a DJ. He had a party for underage people at my city at a club called Pink Elephant. He was like this 16-year-old kid, and he went to the Pink Elephant guys and like did an email, like a fake email address, like contact at his name, whatever.com, like to make it look like a pro and stuff. And he said like, yo, I have this idea for a party and this is the project and stuff, and sent them a PDF file. And the guys were like, okay, let's do it. And then he started doing like those parties at that venue. And one day he comes up to me and says like, yo, you want to sell tickets to my party? There's nobody selling it on your school. So if you want, you can join me in that one. I was like, okay. And I sold tickets to the first party. And by the time we got to the second party, I already showed him that I produced the hip hop beats and that I was trying to do some production and stuff. And he was like, yo, I'm gonna teach you how to play, like how to DJ. I'm gonna try to teach you how to yeah, how to DJ, and you can DJ on the next edition of the party, and then you can try to produce some house stuff so you can play your music at the party. That's gonna be cool. I'm like, okay, teach me. And the funny thing is, he had a little Newmark controller, like one of those laptop controllers, and he was like, yo, you already produced, so you know what these guys do. This is an EQ, this is a volume fader, this is a cue, this is the play, this is the sync button. Don't press it. If you press it, you're a poser. He's like, and yeah, if you play it, try to adjust it, listen to it on your headphones, then you put the fader up. Yeah, do it yourself. And he went to take a bath. Every time I would like screw up, he would get out of the bathroom with a towel on and say, you screwed up, you're a bad DJ. And you'll go back to the shower. And you go back, you screwed up, you're a bad DJ. You go back to the shower. First time that I beat matched properly, he was like, he pressed the 2 cue buttons and he was like, now you're starting to be a DJ. And then he would get me like every day on school, like at 12 o'clock, like lunchtime, we would have lunch and he would take us to the club. He's my age. I'm 22 now. We were like 16 at that time. And he would take us to the club so we can practice on the club setup, like with the big setup and the mixer and the big speakers and stuff, with the club closed, like just for us. And I would practice there with him like all week, so I would be able to play at the party like in the weekend. And that's where I started like playing house music and DJing and stuff. After that, I started going more around the cities around my city and playing some small venues and stuff. And my production skills started getting a little better. So I started releasing on some Brazilian labels and stuff, started going to other states and going around more. And yeah, and then this happened. And now we're here.
There we go. God, amazing story. I mean, to be honest, it's particularly fascinating to see starting off as more of a rock kid,
Yeah.
how many different influences you've had musically and how many different kind of genres you've explored.
Do you think it was confusing the way I told the story?
I don't think it was confusing. I was following it. I think it was good. I didn't find it confusing. And very eye-opening, really, really interesting. So thank you for that.
Thanks.
So you mentioned your mum a few times as being somebody influential in terms of kind of the music you were listening to growing up. Would you say that she was the most influential person when it comes to your music and what you were listening to musically growing up? Or was it more maybe a friend, or what would you say?
I think maybe it was my mom, actually. Because most of the stuff that I hear, that I listen today outside of electronic music, is 70s funk, soul, and disco. Like that's my main stuff on my headphones. So if we think about that, she may be my biggest influence because that's where I got it from. But if we're talking about like the whole spectrum, I think my dad showed me most things, because like he's a big music nerd. He was the rock guy when he is a rock guy, but he's also a blues guy. He's also a jazz guy. So he showed me all the legends and all the like the old school guys and stuff. So I think the music education came more from my dad, but my taste, like the taste making stuff, that the bone shaking stuff, came from my mom. But you mentioned like friends and stuff, and yeah, that's a big part of it, because I started skateboarding when I was younger as well. And skateboarding, hip hop, especially in Brazil, like, because in the United States or in Europe or some other places, they have like punk rock skate crews. Like the guys are like all, and that's not like that common in Brazil. We have like some skate crews that are more like attached to other genres, but in Brazil, skateboarding and hip hop is just like it's coffee and milk. Like it's everywhere. So when I started skateboarding, that's when I really got into hip hop and met, not met, but when I discovered all the old school guys as well, like Tupac, Biggie, Nas, and like A Tribe Called Quest and Wu-Tang and all that kind of stuff. And so skateboarding and my friends that used to skateboard are a big influence because they showed me hip hop and those influences. But also when I went to college, because I did 6 months of fashion school, but then I had to quit because music stuff was happening a little more, and I couldn't have the time to do like my work at fashion school and my work in music, because fashion school is like, it's a ton of work. It's a ton of work, practical work, hand work. So I couldn't like organize my time to do both. And then I moved to do music production school after, like I was already 18. I was 17 to 18. So that's recent. I was already Mochakk. I already had the project Mochakk. So I already knew how to produce, and I was already playing around. I was already playing in venues across Brazil and stuff. But I wanted to have a degree in something. Like actually my dad wanted me to have a degree in something, whatever, even if it was music. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that stuff. And on the music production school, the school that I made was not like really focused in electronic music. It was more like band music and music in general. So I started working with more musicians at music school. So I started to work with a funk band. I started to work with a emo rock guy. I started working with like a R&B, like true R&B singer. I started working with a guy that did whatever. There was a guy that played like violins and metal stuff and yeah. So I had the opportunity to meet more genres and gather more influences there. And I was like, I really loved the soul funk disco sound that I got from my mom back in the day. But I didn't know that the 70s were like such a big dive. Like it's an infinite dive. There's like a million artists that you can discover and a million albums and a million songs. And all the albums, all the songs, all the artists are fire. Like it's an endless dive. You can search forever in the 70s and you're gonna be finding cool songs for the rest of your life. And I didn't know that. That's when I actually discovered that when I started working with those guys at music school, because I already know like the main artists from the 80s. I already knew Marvin Gaye, I already knew Earth, Wind and Fire, I already knew like Kool and the Gang from my mom. But when I got there, like I discovered like George Benson and Luther Vandross and like, like Quincy Jones. Like I didn't know Quincy Jones already. I knew Michael Jackson, but I didn't know Quincy Jones. So when I took that dive in music school, that was a game changer as well. So yeah, music school friends, skateboarding friends, my dad and my mom. I cannot pinpoint who is the biggest, but maybe my mom. Maybe my mom, because she laid the foundation for me to dive more deeply with those areas. She showed me the seventh chord, and
really?
wherever I heard it, I was like, yeah, butter.
The one that
Butter.
always sounds incredible no matter
Yeah.
what context. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Very cool. Thank you for that. So another thing I wanted to ask is, so I know you covered a lot of ground with regards to how you've gotten to where you are so far, but can you think of a particular time in your life? Can you pinpoint one particular time in your life where you felt that you really fell in love with dance music? I don't know if it was maybe a particular album you heard, or maybe a particular event you went to. But can you think of maybe one time in particular you really fell in love with dance music?
Yeah, there, I think there was like the first time that I heard, let me think of it. I think when I heard Chummy, the if the rain was coming,
Oh yeah.
break my heart. When I heard that Chummy track, it's Promises, I think. Chummy Promises.
Mhm.
When I heard that track the first time, I was like, ooh, this is something. And then the event that really got me like, oh gosh, this is like, this is the thing, was there was a venue in Brazil called Sítio M2. And that was like, it was a little venue. It was like a house in the campsite. They had a pool at the middle, and the DJ booth was like at the end of the pool. There was like a 1 meter or 2 meter like space between the DJ booth and the pool, but they would cover the pool. So you have a big dance floor in front of the DJ booth, but it was like a camp house. It was like a house. So the aesthetics was incredible. And I went to a party there using a fake ID because I was 17 at the time. And in Brazil, you can only go to such events when you're 18. So I went there with a fake ID, and the lineup was Fat Notronic. Fat Notronic is a dope duo from Brazil. I do like funk related stuff. And Fat Notronic warming up. Then we have Kyle Watson coming up next. And I was a really big Kyle Watson fan. I still am a big Kyle Watson fan. I think he's really unique. He's developed like such a unique sound. After Kyle Watson, I think it was Mala.
Mm-hmm.
After Mala, it was like Justin Martin. And then after Justin Martin was RDT, which is one of the Entourage guys, which is the agency that books me here in Brazil. And like it was a dope lineup, a dope place. And I was like breaking the rules a little bit because I was underage and going to, so all that just summed up to be like insane. So that party kind of changed my life because I really actually knew I've been to parties before that one, but the vibes was in that place. The vibes were like insane. Like people would scream their asses off and jump around and dance like crazy. And yeah, just seeing that happen, like just seeing those tracks come in and people be like, ah, that just caught me like really, really big time. And yeah, that event I think changed my life.
Amazing, incredible. It sounds incredible. It sounds like the stuff of dreams, to be honest. That
Yeah.
in particular, amazing.
It was amazing.
Very, very cool. And it's when you mentioned the Charmy release, big flashback for me as well, because I remember I was in school when he first exploded in popularity. Everyone gathering around, all my mates, everybody like, who's heard this? Who's heard this? And then everybody was playing it all of the time. And yeah, so amazing artist.
When is that song from? It's 2014, I think, right? Let me see.
I think so. Yeah, I think it must be, I think it must have been around that time. I distinctly remember being at school at lunchtime and everybody was playing
2013. Yeah, 2013.
Wow, God.
It's been a long time. Wow, it's
Oh, we're
almost
getting
10
old.
years. What? It's been almost 10 years. That's
That's crazy.
insane.
That is crazy. Wow.
It seems like it was yesterday, man.
It does, doesn't it? No, it does. That is scary. That is scary. Um,
Yeah.
but amazing. Thank you for that. So next thing I wanted to ask you about was, so in terms of you like pursuing music full time as a full-time career, when did that start for you? Was there a particular time where you really switched your mentality and thought, okay, this is something that I can pursue full time?
Yeah, like that was actually the time that I got out of fashion school, because I was going to fashion school. I was doing it like grinding and stuff, and I was doing music more as a side thing that I really loved doing since I was little. But I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do fashion school. I'm gonna work with this, and yeah. But when I released, I think Dong is one of my old tracks that I released at Elevation, which is Illusionized's label. I started getting requests to play in more states in Brazil. So I started going around more. And then I started to lose the Friday classes. And I started to not be able to execute that well in fashion school. So I'm like, I don't want to stop doing this because I really love doing it. And now it's going kind of to a good place. So I might continue doing it. So I took the decision like to get out of fashion school and keep working with music and see where it got me. And yeah, I think it was the best decision I've ever made. But that was the time when it switched, because I was like, okay, this is not a hobby anymore. I'm quitting my college, like I'm quitting fashion school to pursue this. So now we got to get organized. We got to treat it as work. We got to have responsibility towards every aspect of it. So I think that was when I had the big switch. And that happened because of the release and because of the requests and because I started going around, and it's like playing war, kind of like DJing is kind of like playing war, war, the table game. Like, I don't think I don't know if you guys have it over there, but I think you do. It's like you're a country, and then there's like a world map, and then you start to conquer places. And
Oh yeah. I know what you mean,
it's kind of like playing that, because once I got out of my state and I went to play in the South, I started playing some gigs in Curitiba and in Santa Catarina. And when I started playing there, I kind of conquered a little bit of the area. So I started getting a little more, some more requests from there. So I started going there a little more. I was playing in São Paulo, and I was playing in Santa Catarina. I was playing in Paraná. And then the videos start going on. When the videos start going on, I get a request from, I don't know, from the North. So I go to the North. I play my first gig there. If it's a good gig, I secure my spot a little bit, and then I get a little more requests there. So you kind of expand your territory across the country. And yeah, when I started expanding more, that was the time that I knew that I could quit fashion school, because I already had like something going on. Like I already had something bubbling up. So I had the momentum to quit it. And that's when it switched.
very, very, very interesting. No, that makes sense to me. You're completely, definitely taking the plunge. And it's a good analogy as well you were making.
Yeah.
That whole idea of kind of conquering different
I
areas.
love analogies, man. I'm addicted to analogies. Like
um,
sometimes I make shitty ones just to make one and try to explain something.
well, that one worked. That one I would, yeah.
That one worked.
Thank you so much for that. So I wanted to ask you, thinking back, I know you mentioned some of your earlier releases before, but I wanted you to kind of put your mind back to your very first release. What did you find most challenging and most rewarding about, the process of putting out your first release, both in terms of making the track and also putting it out, seeing the response you got from listeners?
Yeah, I think the most rewarding is just seeing like, because I really love SoundCloud because it's like a real social media for musicians. Like you can repost stuff, you can comment stuff, you can like it, and you have a news feed. So I really like the experience it gives the listener and the artist. So releasing stuff there, like my first release was on SoundCloud. I think the most rewarding stuff was seeing people download it and people liking it and people reposting it and people commenting stuff, like knowing that people really liked, like someone did enjoy it, had an enjoyable experience listening to some sounds that I put together using my computer. And that was a really meaningful moment, I think, like realizing that, because like before you try to make music, you don't see music in a modular way. You see like just the piece of music, like just the whole thing. You listen to a track, it's almost like an entity. You're like, ooh, this song is amazing. Like you think about the band, you think of the guys playing it, it's epic and stuff. But when you start doing it, you start seeing it in a more modular way. And that's where it gets challenging as well. Like, because you asked about the most challenging thing and the most rewarding thing. And when you start seeing it in a modular way, you start to compare what you do with what you listen to. And the like that comparison and trying to get to what you listen to, like mix wise, and trying to make your kick drum sound as punchy as the tracks that you like, and thinking like, if I don't get it to sound punchy, nobody's gonna like the tune. It's gonna be a weak tune. And you get like frustrated and you get like hours trying to fix that kick and it doesn't happen. Like that's really frustrating and really like anxiety driving as well, because you're that can lead you to many thoughts. Like it can lead you to like, yo, if I don't make good tunes, I'm not going to be able to have a career and stuff. So that mind boggling is it. I think it's the most challenging, and it still happens till today, and it's going to always happen. But the thing is, what keeps me from getting boggled too much is looking back and listening to my old tracks and knowing that I've evolved and like the quality is much better now, because I'm studying, and I'm always going to be studying, and I'm going to listen to my tracks from now. Like 5 years from now, I'm going to listen to my track that I released today, and I'm going to be like, Jesus Christ, what is this? Like, and yeah, I think that's something that keeps me like in track, because you're always getting better. So, and you gotta release stuff. Like if I didn't release that first track and got people to actually like it, like somebody actually liked it and downloaded it and commented on it and had an enjoyable experience, and that person made me play somewhere else, and playing somewhere else led up to this. So you got to put it out there, man. You got to trust the process, like, okay, 5 years from now, you're going to listen to it like I listened to my tracks from 5 years ago. I'm like, this sounds horrible, but it led up to this. It's the way to go. Like, and yeah, I think that was like the most rewarding and the most challenging from the first release. I think it's the same answer to the last release that I did. Like, and it's going to be always the same answer, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a brilliant answer. It's something that really resonates with me as well, I think. Yeah, I mean, particularly that problem that I think so many of us face, no matter what discipline that we're in, which is, trying not to compare ourselves to other people. But very, very, very fascinating, to be honest. And this idea of tracking the process is very inspiring for sure. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, and that process is what's gonna make you get better, actually, because you're trying to get better. You're trying to make your track sound better, and you want it to sound better. So you're gonna study your ass off and make it sound better eventually. Like, and that's an endless process, and you're always studying and improving yourself. So I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, definitely. So I wanted to ask you a bit about um, social media, which is not something that we usually discuss that much on the Spotlight series, or at least I haven't discussed it much with many producers and DJs. But I think in your case, because of the insane popularity and kind of viral nature of some of your videos of you playing live, I think it would be definitely relevant to discuss this. So you're one of the first, if not the first DJ and producer to achieve really like dramatic success through TikTok in particular, I'm pretty sure. So I wanted to ask you, what's your approach to this? Did you have an approach to kind of the impression that you give to people on TikTok? And why do you think it is that your TikToks of you playing live have achieved such massive success?
Man, like, it was like, I didn't have pretension to make it happen that way. Actually, I posted that video because I saw a John Summit tweet. John Summit tweeted like, if you're an aspiring DJ and you're not on TikTok, you're wasting your time, because it's the only platform that permits you to go viral without having a previous following. Because, like, for example, Instagram, I was already on Instagram. I was posting my stuff on Instagram, but the only time I would get new followers is when I went to a new place. So I have a first gig in the north of the country. So I'm going to get some new fans from that gig. They're going to follow me on Instagram, and I'm going to get some new followers. That was like, in every post that I made on Instagram was only shown to my followers. It was really, really rare for me to get into the explore page that's open like for everybody. So when I read that tweet, I was like, okay, this makes sense. Because the way TikTok works is that you have a For You page, and it just constantly floods you with whatever videos that people are posting from whatever place of the world. You don't have to follow them to receive their content. So I was like, okay, this makes sense. Let me get a video that already performs kind of well on Instagram and let me post it there. And I had like 180 followers, I think, on TikTok. The moment I posted it, it was like the 17th of January. I had 180 followers because I didn't post anything. I downloaded TikTok months back just to consume it, just to scroll it and pass some time. And yeah, I didn't post anything. I was just scrolling it. And then this was my first post. That's why I had only 180 followers. And then I went for lunch, and when I got back from lunch, it was 130,000 views. I was like, what the hell is happening here? And like, because I kept the notifications off, so I didn't know it was like bubbling that much. And yeah, it started happening like crazy, and it went dramatically viral, and it was insane. But the thing is, I've always played like that, and I've made videos like that before, like because I forgot to mention that when we were talking about the background. But I used to break dance as well. I used to break dance, and I used to dance like freestyle hip hop. I loved guys like YD from France. He's a crazy dancer. Kefton as well. Many guys, but yeah, that's where like the synced moves came from, because I already was in that universe. Like the dance battles consist of that. Like There's a DJ playing random songs. Dude's gotta have a fast memory to know what the song is about and catch that right beat with the right move. And everybody's gonna be like, ah! Guy wins the battle. So that was already internalized in me. And I modestly, I have a good memory for I don't know what's the word, but for memorizing. Yeah, for memorizing tunes and stuff and lyrics and whatever. And I always played like visually showing the audience what the track is about. Because sometimes you listen to a track, like if you're just a listener, sometimes you don't catch all the individual parts of the tune. Sometimes there's like a little synth in the back that passes by and you didn't notice it. And sometimes that little synth is what makes the track work so well. So what I try to do is like I try to translate it and not let it pass by unperceived, you know. Like I try to, when that little synth comes on, I like do 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 do. Yeah, did you catch that? Yeah, that's what makes this tune work. And yeah, so I always played like that. I always had that little thing. And the reason I think it worked so well is it was like it was luck a little bit, because when I cropped the video, because it was the original video is a widescreen video. It's not a vertical video. So I just cropped it for me to be able to post it on TikTok. But when I cropped it, the angle was good. The angle was really good. The dimensions on your phone, like I'm almost like the size of your screen when you open the video up, and that makes a difference in the formatting of the content. Like, and the video itself is amazing. My video maker, Artesian, is amazing. He was already a dancer before as well, so he knows what I'm gonna do most of the time. Like that's something that happens in dance battles a lot as well. Sometimes a guy's going to do a predictable move and the guy battling him is going to copy that move in real time. People are going to be like, ooh, he got that before you, man. You better step your game up. You better do some more moves. So that's something that dancers have as well. And he has that. So he anticipates my movements and he follows it with the camera. And that works really well for the video format. So I think that's what made the video like perform so well. Like I play like that all the time. I am like that all the time. If I'm going to show you a tune now, I'm going to be doing those. I am like that 24/7. So it's truthful. It's not something that I'm making up and that I'm just like doing it for showbiz. Like I'm going to do the big performance here because I want all the nah. It's just like the way I am. That's one thing that makes it work, I think. The other thing, the video maker he knows how to make it work because he came from the same background, kind of. Like my moves come from some background that his videos kind of come back from some background because he used to do dance videos as well. And yeah. And the formatting, like the way the video is cropped, what the video is about. TikTok it's highly musically influenced. So there's a lot of music content. There's not almost a single video in TikTok doesn't have music. So we're working on music. So it's probably going to work a little better. TikTok has a lot of dance oriented material as well, a lot of dances and stuff. I'm not doing the same thing. I was actually anti TikTok dance. I'm but irony of the irony of fate made that happen. So but yeah, that works as well. As bad as I don't want to admit it, it's kind of a TikTok dance what I'm doing. Not trying to be a TikTok dance. It's just the way I perform and I show music to other people 24/7. But by the odds and by luck, it works really well with the platform. Like it's I don't know. It's like in Brazil, we say cagada. Cagada means like the real meaning is like you took a shit. But it's like, those like Dude Perfect videos, which the basketball guys, they throw the basketball and they land it
Oh
like
yeah.
from 2 kilometers away, like insane. What do you guys call when that happens? Like what's the word that you guys use? Like for when something really odd happens and you're like, you get it right and you're like, oh, I can't believe it, I got it right.
Oh, I know what you mean.
It's
Like when
kind
it's
of
just
like a
it works
coincidence
that
with
one
it.
perfect time. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't think of a term, but I completely see what you mean.
yeah.
It wasn't something that was predicted, but it just
It
perfectly
just happened. The
landed.
right
Yeah.
time at the right place. Like the way I perform, the way my videos are recorded, the way it's cropped, just happens to work with the platform.
Yeah.
It was not something thought out. It was not like, yo, TikTok works like this. We're going to do a video like this and it's going to blow up. It was really not that. We went to lunch and I saw John Summit tweet and I was like, okay, let me crop something and post there just to see what happens. And poof.
Amazing.
So it
Amazing,
was, yeah,
honestly.
I'm lucky. I'm really lucky. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the magic of why it's so great
Yeah.
to watch, because it's not contrived, it's not something fake. It's not something where you've like
Thought
really
out
like
and like really,
rehearsed
yeah.
it. It just works,
Yeah.
it's yeah, very, very cool. I wanted to ask you as well, linked to this, is seeing you behind the decks, you've got to be one of the most confident, charismatic DJs ever. Because I know usually the way it works is, I mean, even more experienced, really, really experienced DJs, older guys and older women, they still can be a little bit, they can be amazing DJs, but
Introspective and
they're very aware of the fact that an audience is watching them, and maybe they don't dance as much behind the decks as they would if they were in the crowd, which makes sense. But I wanted to ask you, because you're such a confident, charismatic DJ, where does that confidence come from? Is that something, have you always been super confident, like growing up as a kid, or did that confidence kind of increase as you got more successful? Or where does
I'm
that
not a confident guy when when it comes to other stuff, like at all. But when it's about showing music to people, I've always been really excited about it. And the excitement makes me seem like I'm a really confident guy. But I think like I really love the music that I listen to. And I really want other people to like the stuff that I listen to so I can share experiences and we can jam on that tune together. So, and I think that's like kind of like the job of the DJ is like to show people new music and show people interesting music and show culture and show different genres and different stuff that they don't know yet and they might like, but they just don't know yet because they didn't listen to it. And if you think about it, like those older guys, they do that with like they do it perfectly. Like guys used to play like a whole night, like 10-12 hour set. I really like long sets as well. Like I've played a couple like 8-hour sets, and I did a live stream once where we played 24 hours like straight on, me and Jay Mariani, which is one of the guys from my label. And that's a really cool way to show people like more music and show people new music. And I'm just really excited to show music to people. And the dance days that I had gave me a tool of translation. Like that's a tool of translating new music. Like there can be a guy that's only used to listening to hard stuff, like dark, hard stuff, bumping stuff, because he doesn't understand more complex melodic stuff. If I show him a jazzy song, he'll be like, sounds too weird. I cannot like understand the melodies and the path that they go in. But if I show him visually, yo, this melody is going up, this one is going down. This chord is more like a bright chord. This is a more dark chord right now. If I show that to the guy, he will understand that piece of music more. And by understanding the language, he'll be able to like the music. If he likes the music, my job is done. Because I showed the guy new music that he didn't know, but now he knows and he likes it. And I think that's like the job of the DJ. And there are like guys that are really performatic in the scene, like Dennis Solta, or even like Honey Dijon. She's more like old school DJ, like focused on the turntables, but she's vibing. Like she's like, and that energy, like I think that has like an effect on people. Cause like, for example, if you really like eating hamburgers, but you're eating them like this, nobody's gonna look at you and be like, yo, that hamburger might be delicious. But if you're eating it like, oh man, oof, oh God, then you're gonna show people that what you're eating is really good, and people are gonna be curious about it. Like if I'm, but and that happens naturally. Like you're not gonna be faking that you're really liking the hamburger. You cannot fake that kind of thing. And if you do, it's not gonna be believable. And when I'm enjoying the music that I'm playing that much, I think it has that effect on people. It makes people curious about like, yo, that song might actually be really cool because the guy is fucking jamming on it. Oh, I'm sorry. The guy is freaking jamming on it. He's like really excited about that tune. So might check it out. I think it has that effect like of like it's contagious in a way. Like not meaning it's contagious because I want to be like, oh, I'm contagious. No, I'm just saying like that it has an effect on people. It's undeniable. Like just as Honey Dijon jamming and doing crazy stuff on the decks while she's playing, and the vibes are contagious, man. Like that's contagious. That drives people. Like go listen to that Boiler Room the historic Boiler Room set of Honey Dijon. It's
Oh
insane.
yeah,
It's
no,
insane.
exactly
The Martin
what
Luther
you
King
mean.
one. It's insane. It's
Yeah,
just insane. The
legendary.
vibes. And
Yeah.
that's what caught me in my first one of my in those first house music events that I went. Everybody is screaming and dancing is crazy when the tracks come in. So that's contagious. That caught me. A bunch of people screaming together. This might be a cool experience. I want to go there. Why do videos of DJs playing like cool tunes make the tunes go up in charts or make the DJs go up in charts? Because they post videos of people screaming when they're playing and then the tracks playing. So people are like, yo, that guy might have a good set. I want to check that guy out. And it happens in that same way. It's contagious. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, no, I honestly I couldn't agree more. Definitely, and it makes the whole experience so much more engaging. I think as well for like viewers of the videos, also for crowds as well. Of course, yeah.
And it doesn't work.
I agree.
It doesn't work if you don't have like if you don't play good sets as well. Like
Mm.
if you don't have a good set to match the energy and to match the vibes that you're showing, it's gonna seem like you're faking the hamburger. Like it's gonna seem like you're just, ooh, this hamburger is really tasty. Try it out. But you're not gonna be convinced. If you have the good set, if the set is there, if the tracks are there, if the mixing is there, if all the elements are there and you're vibing your ass off, it's gonna work. It's gonna be contagious.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Amazing. So thank you for that as well. So a couple more questions before we move on to the kind of next part of the interview. So looking forward now, obviously, big career ahead of you for sure. Do you have an idea of where you'd like to see yourself in 10 years time? Or are you the kind of person that kind of just rolls with it and see what happens? What do you?
I am kind of a guy that rolls with it and sees what happens, but I do have like a projection of where I want to be and what's the ideal scenario for me, like that I really want it to be. Like I'm I don't think I want to be a huge ass giant ultra pop star DJ. Like I don't think that's like my goal. I think I want to be like more of a respected guy. I want to play like in venues that I think are cool and that are artsy and that have a good concept behind and are that are showing people different music and stuff. And I want to grow a little bit of that scene and grow that movement in my country. Like I think the perfect scenario for me is me being able to make a solid scene of different stuff in Brazil. Because not only in Brazil, but in various places, um, stuff is really trend oriented. Like the scene is really trend oriented. And it always will be. I think it always will be. But if I can make a solid scene that keeps on going for many years of people that are not that much into the trends and that are more like, yo, I want to listen to cool stuff. Because I really wished that I could go to a boogie party, like like a real 70s boogie party, like, and that's not going to happen like a 2,000 people boogie party in Sao Paulo. It's really hard to happen, you know, because it's more niched. Boogie is 70s, 80s. So it's more niched and it's more like old people. It's not going to be a lot of young folks in the boogie party. But I really wanted to go to a 2,000 people boogie party. And I think we can because boogie sounds dope. It's not a trend, but it sounds amazing. So we should like try to make a scene that works like with different stuff and it's not trend oriented. Like we could do in a festival that there's house, there's soulful house, there's jazz house, there's techno, there's melodic stuff, there's dark industrial stuff, and everybody goes to it. And doesn't matter. Like it's not like, yo, I'm a tech house guy. I don't want to go to the house music, like the soulful house music. I want to tech. I want to tech. Yo, I'm a techno guy. I don't like tech house. No, screw tech house. Tech house. It's just too silly. No, I want a party like where I want parties in the scene where like people are open to listen to various different genres and stuff. And if I can make that happen in Brazil, if I'm able to like, I don't know, own a club or own a festival in the future, or maybe open the doors for somebody owning a club or a festival to make it a venue that works like that and that works in that manner of like showing people different cultures and different songs and different music and different art in general. If I can make that happen, then I'm okay. If I earn money enough to pay my house bills and keep on DJing and keep on working music, then that's fine. I don't want to be like super giant, super duper billionaire playing in Kanye West's house. Like I don't need that. I'm okay playing like at cool venues that I think are cool and living my life. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah,
we don't control that sometimes. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen.
No, true for sure. I think that's a great outlook to have, to be honest. And I love how open-minded you are with regards to different genres. I think that's something that we need more of.
Yeah.
Globally, really, when it comes to music. I always think it's more interesting to have events that, you know, encompass a huge variety of different genres.
Because there's good music and bad music in every genre.
Of course.
Every genre. You can like think of the thing that you like the least. Like if you say like, oh, I hate country music. There's a lot of country music. If you really search it, there's some crazy dope tunes in country music. there might be a guy that does country mixed with jazz and with, I don't know, whatever, and it's super amazing, and you just don't know yet. Like there's good music and bad music everywhere. It's silly to judge it and like cut it off like that. I just think it's silly. You're just missing out on more cool music. And as a DJ, you cannot be missing out on cool music and different music, because those are the rare cards. Like if you have a rare track that nobody knows about, is really dope, that's gonna bang the night, man. It's gonna and that's gonna be, maybe it's gonna be your ticket. Like for example, the Pasta tune, it was already like a big tune. It had already like 2 million plays or something like that, but it was from 2019 and nobody remembered the tune. Like in Brazil, nobody was playing that tune. I'm like, that tune is too sick to be left behind. And then the video happened. Like it's a 2019 tune and it went big again. I love playing old stuff. Like I'm playing now a vocoder tune from 2014 in all of the sets that I'm playing, and it's banging. It's banging. It's not a trend. It's not like the genre that's really happening now. Like, cause it's a more funky house beat. Like the Moog bass line is not that tech house, the really dry out tech house with catchy vocals that are really big now. It's more like a laid back really, really simple tune, but it bangs and it's slaying dance floors all across. So you cannot be missing out on good music. You cannot be cutting stuff off.
No, definitely. And following on from that, because I know you've mentioned a huge array of different kind of genres and tracks, in the course of our conversation so far. So it's quite a hard question to ask you, but can you name one track that was particularly influential in your journey in dance music? What would you say?
Yes, sir. I can. Back in the day when I was playing at the underage party in Pink Elephant, the club that I told you about, that my friend ran a party and I was promoting events, and then I started DJing there. I started DJing there as a warm-up DJ. So I was the first one to play, and I played when people were coming in. So I would not play like bangers, like rah, like really uplifting tunes. I was playing more classy, jazzy stuff, like warming up the house, like deep house. I was playing new disco. I was playing those kind of tunes. So I remember that every time that I went DJing there, right before I get to the booth, there was a CD playing on the CDJ, which was like, I don't know, Lounge Soulful House compilation volume 12 by somebody. And the last track of that CD was Amazing. The name of the tune is Amazing by, it's Amazing by Danny Clark and LT Brown. And it was the last tune of the CD. So every time I heard that tune, I knew it was DJ time, because it was the last tune of the CD. So I would listen to that track coming in. I'd be like, all right, let me catch my headphones. Let's go to the booth. So it really stuck to me. And I didn't know what the name of the tune was back in the day, because the CD would just show track number 12, whatever. I didn't know the name of the track. And I've listened to it every time when I was going to DJ. Every party that I played at Pink Elephant, I would listen to that tune right before I play. And then Pink Elephant started not happening anymore for me, and I started going somewhere else and playing at other parties and stuff. Okay, fast forward to like 2 years later, since the last time I played Pink Elephant. And I'm like, yo, remember that tune I used to play? You're amazing, yeah. I just remembered like the only thing that I remembered from the tune was this vocal, "You're amazing, yeah," and the chords. That was the only thing that I still remembered. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna search for that tune. So I was like, amazing original mix. And I went to Soundio and I searched on Soundio for like 10 pages, couldn't find it. Listening to every tune, couldn't find it. So I was like, okay, it's not amazing original mix. It might be a remix. So I typed amazing remix. Page 10, didn't find it. So I was like, all right, I know some dudes put the track naming in a weird way. Like, for example, amazing Red Bull mix for whatever reason. So I was like, I'm going to try to search for amazing mix. And then I found it on page 26. Listening to every track. I was like, I gotta find this tune. And I was like, all afternoon, like searching for it. And I found it on page 26 because the name of the tune is Amazing Main Mix. But there's only the main mix. There's no alternate mix. There's no like dub mix. It's just the main mix. The only mix that exists is the main mix. And it's a 10-minute track. Amazing tune, as the name says. Really soulful. The vocals are amazing, really gospely. Insane tune. Amazing by Denny Clark and LT Brown. That's the tune, like, because it was so hard to get. It was so hard to get. I will never forget that tune ever.
And the hard work pays off. I mean, that is serious dedication, you know, when you're getting to like page 26.
I'm just a maniac with stuff like that. I'm just like, I gotta find it. So I'm just gonna sit here and find it. Like no other option.
Very, very cool. I'm looking forward to hearing this now because it's gonna have to, I'm sure there's something special. I'm very excited to hear it. Thank you.
Yes. The backing vocals, the girls like, you are amazing. Crazy. It's crazy too. Crazy too. Oh man. I want to listen to it now as well.
No, straight after the interview, I'm gonna have to. I know as soon as this is finished, I'm gonna be straight on that. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. So moving on now, last part of the interview to the speed round. So it's a bit of fun.
Nice.
10 questions. I know you said beforehand you were looking forward to this, which is good. I like the enthusiasm. The idea is, of course, you don't give the questions too much thought. You just kind of respond with the first thing that comes to mind. So with that being said, let's get started.
Does it have to be a quick answer? Yes. Right.
It has to be quick. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I don't mind if you wait a little bit, but yeah, some of them might make you stop and think though. So it's fair enough if you have to pause a bit.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go. So Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac. Very cool.
Tiesto or Carl Cox?
Carl Cox. Legendary.
Marvin Gaye or Aretha Franklin?
I love Marvin Gaye. It's just butter.
Yeah, I know. I do agree.
It's just butter. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Okay, so if you could have one superpower, would it be flight or invisibility between those two?
Fly.
Yeah. Okay.
Fly.
Would you rather find true love today or win the lottery next year?
True love.
So
I can make music about it.
Just the inspiration. I like that. Yeah, very good.
Loves the answer.
Okay. Would you rather be half your height or double your weight? So would you
double
rather
my weight?
Double your weight.
If I'm half my height, I'm gonna be a midget, and if I'm double my weight, I'm gonna be a normal guy because I'm skinny as hell. So it's double my weight for sure.
Double your weight. Okay. Would you rather listen to one song for the rest of your life or never be allowed to listen to the same song twice?
Never be allowed to listen to the same song twice.
Okay. Yeah. Likewise.
It hurts.
Painful.
But it's better. It's better because I can keep discovering more stuff.
Yeah. True. So, would you rather live in a new country every month or never go on vacation again?
Live in a new country every month.
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say that. Skydive or bungee jump? What would you choose?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I'm scared of both. Maybe, I don't know, maybe skydiving.
Okay,
Because
fun.
if I die skydiving, I'm just gonna die oof, over. What if I just like if I'm bungee jumping, something goes wrong and I'm like, ah,
Oh no.
various times. Like it's worse.
Yeah.
Skydiving.
You persuaded me now as well, actually, after that thought. And okay, last one. Would you rather only listen to your least favorite genre of music or watch your least favorite genre of movie?
Least favorite genre of movie. Because
Okay.
there's good stuff in every genre.
I know, as we said, of course. So we can't
Yeah,
allow
boy.
amazing. Well, that is pretty much the last question that I've got for you. Do you have anything that you want to
Nice.
say to viewers before you head off? Anything you want to share?
I just think that I want to thank everybody that's been supporting and that's been following and that's been interested on what I'm doing and stuff. I want to tell you guys that I just released a new tune, so go check it out. It's been the first release since the TikTok slash Instagram boom. So I'm really excited on where this tune can go. It's called False Need. It's been out on Black Book, Chris Lake's imprint. So yeah, check it out. Go support it on Beatport. We're going up the charts. So really excited about it. And yeah, looking forward to play in various places and show cool music to people. That's it. Thanks.
Incredible. Amazing. Thank you so much.